President Trump says a deal could be near on year-round E15 sales, what it means for farmers, fuel prices, and the ethanol industry. Plus, using fire as a land management tool, how upcoming workshops are teaching Kansans to burn safely and responsibly, and how you can join in. Welcome in to Agriculture. I'm Britton Rucker. The Kansas legislature is moving several agriculture-related bills forward as the 2026 session continues. One measure passed by the House would increase penalties for livestock theft. House Bill 2413 would make stealing horses or cattle a level 5 non-person felony, a move supporters say could better protect rural property. Lawmakers also approved a bill dealing with pesticide labeling. House Bill 2476 would recognize federally approved labels as sufficient under Kansas law, aiming to reduce confusion and limit certain lawsuits. And a third bill would require licensing for water pump installation contractors. That proposal is now eligible for full House debate. Agriculture groups continue to tackle these measures as the lawmakers move forward towards a final decision. The supply of cattle in the U.S. have reached a 75-year low, forcing some major meat processors to take a financial hit. Data from the Department of Agriculture shows the price of beef rose by more than 16% in 2025. Tyson Foods covers about a fifth of the country's meat supply. It says it lost $319 million during the final quarter of last year. And looking ahead, Tyson Foods predicts it could lose up to $500 million in the beef business by the end of its fiscal year in September. Cattle shortages mean processors will ultimately have to pay higher prices. And the Ag Department released a semi-annual cattle report last week. It found the U.S. cattle herd shrunk by 300,000 head last year. President Trump says Congress is close to a deal that would allow year-round sales of E15 fuel, a move strongly backed by corn growers and ethanol producers. And Trump says House and Senate leaders are working to finalize an agreement that supports farmers, consumers, and refiners, including smaller operations. The push comes after Midwestern lawmakers failed to attach E15 language to a recent funding package, instead forming a working group to broker a compromise between ethanol and oil interest. Meanwhile, the White House has completed its review of proposed rules for the 45Z clean fuel production tax credit, with draft guidance expected to be released for public comment later this spring. A horse in Florida has tested positive for the screwworm parasite. The United States Department of Agriculture made the announcement last week after a horse from Argentina was found with a parasite during a routine inspection. The horse was treated and put into quarantine, and discovered the larvae was collected and shipped to the National Veterinary Services Laboratory in Iowa for further study. The USDA says the discovery highlights the need for tighter controls and protocols to prevent a possible outbreak of the parasite. Senate agriculture leaders are pressing the USDA to reverse course on crop insurance protections farmers rely on when weather disrupts planting. In a bipartisan letter, leaders of the U.S. Senate Agriculture Committee urged U.S. Department of Agriculture to restore prevented planting buy-up coverage, calling its removal troubling for growers managing weather risk. Lawmakers point to USDA data showing more than 67 million acres were impacted by prevented planting in 2025, urging the department to restore coverage starting in 2027 to give farmers greater certainty when weather gets in the way. You can learn how to safely use prescribed burn at an upcoming burn planning workshop hosted by the Kansas Grazing Lands Coalition. The hands-on session walks participants through writing a burn plan covering safety, weather, and fire behavior. Workshops are set for February 12th in Ness City and February 17th in Lincoln. Registration is required. To register, visit our Eye on Agriculture section on our 12 News app and website. Coming up on Eye on Agriculture, a farm dog named Goose, now a finalist in a popular nationwide contest. We'll show you why he's so special just ahead.